Here's 9 big mistakes you're definitely going to not want to make in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, especially if you want to make more money, level up faster, and just survive. And thanks to Player for sponsoring this video. You can jump into the open world medieval game of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 yourself from the link below in the description. But the first thing that you need to understand is that this is the ultimate roleplay sandbox, which means you can literally do anything. Let's say, for example, you're playing dice in the tavern and you've lost a lot of money to the other player. No problem. Just wait until 2 a.m. in the morning and follow them to their bed and find out where they sleep, and then lean over and choke them like a psychopath. Then you'll be free to take all of the money you lost along with their money that they've made from playing the dice game Farkle. In fact, you don't even need to give them your money in the first place. You can just take the money they earn from playing Farkle. You can even take their weighted cheat dice and badges, and heck, why not take all of their clothes too? And the hilarious thing is that the next day you'll see them in the tavern with naught but the rags you left them with. And then if you play them at dice again, they're only going to be able to wager free groschen, and they'll no longer have any weighted cheat dice to use. This is the crazy level of detail you can expect from Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and my goodness, can we exploit it. Also, just so you know, their inventories will reset after a couple of in-game days, so you can do this over and over again. But this brings me on to tip number 8. In Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you can get unlimited free skill training and weapon combo unlocks thanks to this game's realistic mechanics. Here's how you can take advantage of it yourself. So during the course of your playthrough, you'll find lots of skill teachers who you can be paid to teach you new weapon combos or even train you at specific skills. These skills range from combat skills like swordsmanship or archery to secondary skills like survival, stealth, and thievery. Each skill trainer will have a level of teaching like novice, advanced, or journeyman, and each one is going to give you a bigger chunk of experience, and leveling up like this is really fast. However, all this training obviously comes at a cost, and you will need to pay to unlock the new weapon combos and get the skill training. But because Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is so damn realistic, when you pay them, the money will be put into that NPC's inventory. So it is actually possible to steal it back later. You can either pickpocket them and they'll store the money in multiple stacks in their inventory, so just go ahead and take it all like this. Or if you don't have a high thievery skill, just find out where they sleep, choke them out at night, and then steal it all back. The next day you can then just go back and buy even more skill training with the same money you used before. Just remember that it is easier to pickpocket a combat trainer while they're sleeping instead of trying to knock them out with a low strength skill. This technique works for literally anything in the game. Even if you're buying some items from a merchant, you can then knock them out and take all your money back. Just be warned that NPCs' inventories do seem to reset after an in-game week, so there's kind of a time period that you'll have to steal it back. Next we have tip number 7, and please do leave a like on the video if it's been helpful so far. Warhorse actually added rock throwing to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and there's a couple of really cool things you can do with this new feature. Firstly, to actually throw a rock, you need to be in stealth mode, and then you can throw unlimited rocks. These are intended to be used to distract NPCs when sneaking around. So you can sneak past, or you can get them to turn their backs so you can steal something off a shelf in a shop without getting detected. But be warned that the NPCs are a lot smarter now. So if they see something that is missing from their shop and you're standing there, they will probably blame you. Or if you put on the item that you stole and start strutting around town with it, they will literally notice that you're wearing something that belongs to them, and they'll call you out on it and then tell the guards to arrest you. So make sure if you do steal something that you keep it in your pocket and make a quick getaway before anyone starts searching. If you actually look in your inventory as well, the items will now tell you where they were stolen from. NPCs will also react if they see that you're the one throwing rocks. Or if you label them in the face with a pebble, they won't be very happy about it. And if you persist, they'll call the guards or even just straight up attack you. But one of the hidden useful parts about throwing rocks is that you can actually use it to knock down the bird nests. Bird nests are actually scattered all over the wilderness of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The game will usually tell you when you walk past one, and then you just need to look up in the trees and find where it was. They'll also be marked on your map so you can come back later to loot them. But to actually get to them, you can just crouch down, throw a stone at it, it gets knocked down, and then you can go ahead ahead and loot it. And the point of doing this is that many of these bird nests have secret hidden treasures inside. Sometimes it's just feathers, a bit of money, but other times it can be a very useful trinket that you might want to sell. And obviously this is a lot easier compared to the first game when you were firing arrows into the sky trying to hit these bird nests. But really, you haven't lived until you've instantly killed a chicken with a well-placed stone. Now, if you want to power level your strength, vitality, and agility in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, keep loading up until you get over encumbered, and then you'll no longer be able to sprint or fast travel and you'll walk slower. But just like in real life, this is actually going to level up your strength and vitality surprisingly fast. So next time you just naturally get over encumbered while you're hunting or looting, just consider walking back to the next town in this state and watch as all your skills just start to level up with you literally doing nothing. It's pretty cool how the game rewards you for this. But you can also power level your agility, strength, and vitality to level 30 while AFK. To do this for yourself, simply get fully over encumbered and then just look down and carry on walking in a tight circle. If you tape down your controller or keyboard in this position, you can then leave it for a few hours to reach level 30 in strength, agility, and vitality. But be warned that this exploit will ruin all the challenge from the game. So it's up to you if you find that fun or not. But now we have tip number 5. If you are tired of getting over encumbered in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, make sure you get yourself a good horse with good equipment. You can get everything from battle-hardened war horses to carry-weight monsters. When your horse is nearby, you will now have an option in your inventory to just start putting everything in your horse, so they can carry all your stolen items and heavier objects that you've been looting in the wilderness. This enables you to once again sprint and fast travel or even ride your horse instead of being over encumbered. But beyond that, you can also buy lots of new equipment from the stables, like a good saddlebag with lots of carrying capacity, horseshoes, reins, and even armor for your horse. But don't go overboard in weighing your horse down, because all that weight is going to add up and reduce its speed. And that brings me on to tip number 4, horse combat. Did you know that you can now rear your horse to terrify nearby enemies in Kingdom Come Deliverance? While standing on the spot, if you press back and jump at the same time, your horse will scare the enemies nearby, causing them to run away. It makes it a lot easier to run them down on horseback and take them out from the saddle. You can also, of course, use some of the lighter crossbows and even bows from your saddle as well, but the bows especially are a lot harder to aim while on horseback. Speaking of terrifying enemies though, you can also taunt or shout at enemies during combat. Taunting them will normally cause them to attack, which is great if you're trying to counterattack them, but the battle cry shout will demoralize them, especially if you use it after you've just taken one of them down. It will sometimes cause them to surrender or just completely run away. There's even a few perks that boost your damage by 10% when you use battle cry in combat, and the second perk boosts it to 15%. Getting this perk also unlocks some cool Easter eggs of special war cries as well.
Oh, I feel quite hungry!
Let's go! Good! I
Next we have tip number 3. Be very careful when looking after your weapons and armor in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, because it's now possible to lower their stats permanently. This new game now has weapon and armor quality tiers. The higher the quality of a weapon or armor, the more damage or the more armor rating it's going to have. But if you let the item's condition get reduced to 0, instead of breaking, the quality of that weapon will now be permanently reduced. So even if you repair it later back to 100%, it will never be as good as it was before. And if you let a tier 1 weapon get destroyed, you actually just be left with the wooden handle of that weapon. So you'll basically just be beating people with a stick, which, as useless as it is pretty hilarious that you could do that. Now, beyond the 3 tiers of item quality, there's actually a 4th tier, which is Henry crafted quality. These Master Forged weapons can only be crafted by Henry in the forge after you've got this specific perk found in the crafting skill tree. It allows you to craft the best weapons in the game, so I definitely recommend leveling up your crafting skill and getting it early on. Now, talking of crafting, that brings me on to tip number 2. When you're leveling up your crafting skills like alchemy or blacksmithing, and you finish making either a potion or forging a weapon, the weapon will get a quality tier rating based on how well you forged it. And the higher the rating, the higher its damage stats are going to be. And the potions you craft can be weak, normal, or strong, having some extra bonus effects when you drink them. But the most important thing to keep your eye out for is that after you finish crafting something, Henry will say specifically what he messed up. Like overheating the sword in the furnace or boiling the nettles too long in alchemy. So paying attention to this detail will help you improve at this skill so you do better the next time you try it. But next I have a secret bonus tip. I'm seeing a lot of people struggle with the combat in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 because they're making these 3 big mistakes. Firstly, when you see that green shield, press the block button, but do not get baited into always pressing the counter attack after. You might have noticed that this just leads to a back and forth where you waste all of your stamina. And your stamina acts as a shield to your health bar. So when you get hit, you'll lose stamina. But if you have none left, you'll be losing your health instead. So always try and keep around half your stamina bar as a buffer to your health. But how do you win combat easily? Well, you just need to learn how to Master Strike in the quest Combat Training 2. Now all you need to do is attack in the opposite direction of your opponent when you see that green shield. This will instantly take out most enemies with the Master Strike. And it's really the only ability you need to master combat. And that's why I've made a full combat guide on exactly how to learn and use this ability linked below. I promise that if you just learn that one ability, you will be unstoppable in this game. And really you should only bother counter-attacking to stop enemies on their 3rd attack. This interrupts them doing any combos on you. And then finally we have tip number 1, but really I have many more tips and you should subscribe if you want other videos with even more suggestions. Now, crime in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 now carries a different weight of punishment for what you've done wrong. Like if you offer chicken, it can be amicably solved with the NPC by just giving them some money, but there are now escalating punishments for every crime. So if you try and steal something, you'll be getting a day in the stocks. And each crime now comes with a cinematic and a debuff afterwards. And the worse the crime, the worse debuff you'll get. Like assaulting somebody or knocking them out and getting caught will get you whipped in front of a crowd. But the worst offense of all is offing peasants, which will get you branded if you do get caught. You'll get a really fresh scar on the side of your neck, which will be there for the rest of the game, even when it heals. But while the brand is fresh, a couple of things happen. Firstly, everyone will just refuse to speak to you until the brand starts to heal and becomes less noticeable. Secondly, if you were to off another peasant, you would then get hung, which completely ends the game. So make sure you take extra care not to get caught for your crimes. People will notice, they will start to arm themselves. You'll see the guard patrols increase until things start to cool off again. Next, if you want to make lots of money early on in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, make sure you check out my other video right here where we go over a bunch of locations you can go to get thousands of groschen early on in the game. And don't forget that you can grab Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 from the link below in the description.